Alright, so today we're going to work on making a number line. So just like we did with integers making a number line, the folding process is going to be the same. So you need to grab a receipt tape, and we're going to fold it long ways, hot dog, just like we've done before, in half. Okay, once you have that folded in half, you're going to want to open it up. Alright, and you're going to put the line down the middle to make your center line on that fold, all the way down the paper. Okay, then you're going to want to fold it over hamburger, so the opposite way, halfway. Okay, and that gets us to the middle, so we know in the middle of the number line is 0, so we're going to mark 0. Put our little hashtag, or our little, not hashtag, but our little hash mark, or our tick mark, and put it at 0, and fold it back over, and do 4 more folds. 4 more hamburger folds. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And remember, you got to press really hard to get that last fold. So you should be about this size. Okay, open it all the way back up. Now this number line is going to be for decimals and fractions. So this side of the number line is going to be decimals, the other side is going to be fractions. And we're going to count by tenths. So let's start with our positives and make our little hash marks all the way down on every fold. Okay. And instead of counting by ones, now we're going to count by tenths. So 0.1, 0.2, and so forth. And you should get all the way to 0.15. And when you get to 1, you don't really have to put a 1.0, because 1.0, the 0.0 is just 0. So you should get all the way to 1.5. Now we're going to do the same thing, but in the negatives. So we're going to put our hash marks, our tick marks. Okay, and we're going to count by negative tenths. So negative 0.1, negative 0.2, and so forth. Okay, so again on this side you should have negative 0.1 through negative 1.5. Alright, now we're going to put your name on it somewhere. So if you misplace it, you can get it back easily. Okay, maybe at the middle there. And turn it over. So we did decimals on one side, and now we're going to do fractions. So let's put our center line down the fold, the middle fold. Okay, and we got to find our 0 again, so fold it over Or you can flip over the paper and find where your 0 is on the other side. Mark it or look over where the other 0 is. Put your hash mark there and a 0. All right, so now we're going to do fractions, but we're not going to count by tenths. We're going to count by eighths. So let's make our tick marks on the positive side. Okay. Once you have your tick marks, we're going to count by eighths. We're not going to simplify or anything right now. We're just going to literally count by eighths. So 1/8, 2/8. You can just leave it unsimplified for now. Okay. And when you get past 1, so when you get 8/8, remember, you just keep counting. It's 9/8. 10/8, and just keep counting. And you should get to 15/8. Okay, you should get to 15/8. Now we can go back and simplify. So remember, we want fractions to be in simplest form. We want an equivalent fraction that's simplest form. So we want to divide out any common factors. So for instance, 1 and 8. Well, the factors of 1 are 1 and that's it. And 8 is, there's nothing else you can really divide out. So, but when you get to 2/8, they both are divisible by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 2/8 is really 1/4. Okay? So you're going to want to write 1/4 up above. 2/8 is really 1/4. 3/8 you can't divide anything out. There's no same factors. But 4/8, 4 can go into 8. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 4 and 8 is 2. Okay? 5/8 you can't divide anything out. 6/8, well, you can divide out 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 6/8 is really 3/4. You get to 8/8. We all know that's really 1. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 1/1 is 1. All right, so here's where it gets a little bit, we don't really want to keep improper fractions. A lot of times you're going to see them as mixed numbers. So remember, you divide the denominator into the numerator. So 8 goes into 9 one time. Then you subtract, find the remainder. 9 minus 8 is 1. That becomes our new numerator. And then we keep the denominator. Okay? And then we do the same thing. 8 goes into 10 one time with 10 minus 8 is 2. But remember, 2/8 is really 1/4. So we want to change that to 1 1/4. 11/8 is really, 8 goes in 11 1. 11 minus 8 is 3. Keep the remainder of 8. 8 goes into 12 one time. With 12 minus 8 is 4 over 8. But we don't want to leave it like that. Remember, 4/8 is really 1/2. So we want to keep that as 1 1/2. 13/8. 8 goes into 13 one time. 13 minus 8 is 5. Keep the denominator of 8. 8 goes into 14 one time. 14 minus 8 is 6. Keep the denominator of 8. But remember, 6/8 is really 3/4. Then 8 goes into 15 one time. 15 minus 8 is 7 with 8. So it goes all the way up to 1 7/8. Okay? And this one over is 2/8 didn't come out well. That's really 1/4. Okay. All right, so now we want to do the same thing with negatives. We're going to count by eighths. So let's put our hash marks all in the negatives, our tick marks. Okay, now we've got tick marks all the way down, and we're going to count by -1/8. So we'll -1/8, and again, we're not going to simplify right now. We're just going to write our fractions. Okay, so now we want to go back through and simplify. So it's going to be just like we did on the other side, except now everything's negative. So we can't simplify negative 1/8, but we can take out at 2, that, remember 2/8 is really 1/4, so it's negative 1/4. And you can't do anything with negative 3/8. If you go to negative 4/8, you take out 4, divide out 4, and that really becomes negative 1/2. Remember, you can't take anything out of negative 5/8, but you can take out 2, divide out 2, so that becomes negative 3/4, just like on the other side of the number line. You can't, no common factors of negative 7 and 8, so keep that. Remember, negative 8/8 is really just negative 1. All right, now here's where we want to kind of just show mixed numbers. So again, 9/8 was 1 and 1/8, so it's negative 1 and 1/8. 10/8 is really negative 1 and 2/8, but really that's really negative 1 and 1/4. Remember, 2/8 is really 1/4. Okay, negative 11/8 is really negative 1 and 3/8. Okay, can't simplify that. Negative 12/8, remember, is negative. Now instead of being 1 and 4/8, it's negative 1 and 4/8, and which goes to negative 1.5. Negative 13/2, 8 goes into 13 once. 13 minus 8 is 5. Negative 1 and 5/8, can't simplify that. Okay. Now negative 14/8, 8 goes into 14 1. 14 minus 8 is 6. Keep the remainder. But remember, 6/8 is really 3/4. It's negative 1 and 3/4. And then negative 15/8. 8 goes into 15 one time. 15 minus 8 is 7. The remainder of 8. So we've gone from negative 1 and 7/8 or negative 15/8. Okay. All the way down to 0, and then up to 15/8 or 1 and 7/8. All right, so we want to keep this, so we're going to fold it kind of at our 0 line, fold it a couple times, keep it in our folder, and use it as we need to because we'll be adding, subtracting decimals and fractions, and this can help you.